Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be playing Minecraft, but I have a whole new storyline. So get ready because we're gonna have more tools, more enemies, even more pets. And y'all already saw what device I'm on. Yep, I'm on tablet. Guys, don't mind why I'm watching a video on playing. That's just how I do stuff.
Richard decide to buy a pet goldfish to keep Gumball busy, which somehow ends up working. Gumball is fascinated with his new pet, which he ends up naming Darwin. Except this is not our Darwin. Not yet, that is. Gumball goes through multiple goldfish, with all of them somehow dying in a ridiculous way. And then, after every single death, Richard takes it, flushes it down the toilet, and buys him a new one. And when Richard goes back to the he learns that the last two available in the store jumped out of their tank knowing that they would have the same fate as their peers, which is actually kinda sad, as that Gumball will be on a rampage now that he doesn't have Darwin. He notices a mysterious van sitting next to him, and for some reason decides to go in various unique items. Richard finds a goldfish that is not for sale, but easily convinces the seller and buys it for $100. As Richard is walking out though, the mysterious figure tells him that this is not any ordinary fish, and it's way more special than it seems. The next day, Gumball is playing with the new Darwin, and he is surprised to see that Darwin understands everything that he's saying and is copying his every move. They both reach for each other's hands, and out of nowhere, a strong connection forms between them, as if they can feel each other's emotions in their hearts. They both sense it deeply, leaving Gumball in shock of the mysterious connection with his new pet goldfish. And when Darwin talks for the first time, Gumball gets super excited and goes to tell his parents. But he wants to play a prank on them, so he asks Darwin. However, when Richard comes into the kitchen, he thinks the fish is dead and goes to the bathroom to flush him down the toilet. Right when he's about, Gumball stops him and welcomes Darwin into the Watterson family. But when they're about to take a picture, Darwin startles Nicole and Richard, and they accidentally throw him out of his bowl into the toilet, hitting the lever and flushing him down the toilet. And then this continues into the next episode, which is the Origins Part 2, where Darwin ends up at sea and is determined to get back to Gumball and his family. Darwin jumps out of the water and makes his way onto land. However, he doesn't get far due to him being a fish. But the bond between Gumball and Darwin is so strong that it keeps him alive, giving him lungs and legs to continue moving forward. He continues on, finding multiple things stopping him on his way. But eventually, Darwin catches up to his family and notices that the Wattersons are about to replace him. Having him heartbroken, he sadly walks out of the mall. However, Gumball senses Darwin's presence and realizes that he's back, so he runs to catch up with Darwin and they reunite outside the mall. The Wattersons then officially welcome Darwin as a new member of their family, and then the rest is history. Darwin's relationships. The origin shows us the bond between Gumball and Darwin and how they instantly clicked. Their bond continues throughout the show, becoming a significant part of their brotherly and best friend relationship. Like every relationship, they sometimes have disagreements or get into fights, but at the end of the day, they always make up and remain the best of siblings. Just like Gumball and Darwin, both Darwin and Anais are also great siblings to each other. While she isn't as close to Gumball and Darwin as they are to each other, they still share some moments and maintain a relatively healthy sibling relationship, with Darwin often acting as a big brother to Anais. Another great example of this is in the episode The Responsible. Both Gumball and Darwin are in charge of babysitting Anais and try to protect her from anything that looks dangerous. Even though they fail miserably, they ultimately end up working together to get out of the house while it's flooding. His relationship with Nicole and Richard are also nothing but a great family bond. They treat him like a son and never push him away for being different or not related. However, things do change in the episode The Roots, when they think that Darwin misses his old life as a fish. They look to Straw and try to make him feel at home as much as possible. When that doesn't work, they throw him back into the water while thinking that they're doing the right thing. But all that did was make them seem like they were abandoning him. In the end, they reconnect and feel relieved when Darwin reveals that he was just trying to guilt trip them into buying a bigger fish tank, which he definitely needs. He can barely fit in his current one, and he has been struggling with it ever since they got him. Get my boy Darwin a bigger fish tank, come on. When it comes to his other relationships, Darwin seems to be quite the chick magnet, getting close with multiple different girls, such as Sarah, Masami, and the girl he ended up with is Carrie. Their relationship builds in episodes like the Halloween, and they finally become a thing after the events of the Matchmaker. He can also make a lot of friends, being quite friendly with most of the students in Elmore Junior High, being able to connect well with characters like Penny, Banana Joe, and even others much older than him like Rocky. A lot of these characters at some point he did not get along well with. However, due to his friendly and kind personality, he was eventually able to connect with them. For example, Darwin was once jealous of all of the time Gumball was spending with his girlfriend Penny, fearing that she was trying to take Gumball away. However, he eventually overcomes these feelings in later episodes like The Romantic, where he stops showing hatred towards Penny and even helps Gumball plan something romantic for her. Despite Darwin's friendly nature, Darwin has created some arch enemies, like Rob. Rob is the main antagonist who was originally a minor background character, but after the world realized of his uselessness, he was sent to the Void. More about that later. Once he escapes the Void, he becomes Gumball's arch nemesis. But in episodes like The Disaster, Rob targets those who Gumball loves, like his parents, Anais, Penny, and even our boy Darwin. Now that we've explained most of Darwin's story and his relationships, we should talk about the creation of Darwin and how he became a character. The creation of Darwin. The Watterson family is based off of Ben Boclet and his family from his childhood. And if you don't know, Ben Boclet